If the Seahawks win this game, what does this mean for their season and Pete Carroll's legacy?
If they win this game, this is the best win of Pete Carroll's career. I feel like just being able to bring Geno Smith, elevate him above to what Russell Wilson was, trading Russell Wilson to the Denver Broncos, Russell Wilson playing like one of the worst quarterbacks in the league, looking like Zach Wilson out here, and then orchestrating his best draft in a long time.
A decade.
Yeah, his best draft in a decade. It seems like he's been whiffing a lot. He hasn't had a good draft since 2013, 2012, where he picked up the Legion of Boom. So it's like you have one of your best drafts, and then you're able to resurrect the career of Geno Smith and beat probably everyone's. I feel like the Niners are probably the most popular lock to go to the Super Bowl because it's debatable in the AFC, and then the Eagles are kind of on a downturn. So the 49ers are the flashy popular pick. So if you go in there, beat them, that's one of the biggest accomplishments, especially when everyone thought you were over the hill. For the 49ers, if you lose, this is an absolute disaster for Kyle Shanahan. He'll be labeled forever as a choker. No matter how much talent in the world you have the best tight end wide receiver trio and the best defense. Absolutely no excuse. If you win, you played a tough game versus a divisional rival. I'll give you credit for bringing Brock Purdy to the playoffs, making him the best quarterback in the league, and getting the job done in the first round, but there's still work to be done. How about you?
Yeah, I kind of nailed it. If you win this game, I think it starts a Cinderella story for the Seahawks. They would face the Eagles, and that'd be an interesting game.
Yeah, it'd be a fun game.
Yeah, that's a game where we don't know what happens. The NFL's weird. We saw the Giants make the Super Bowl twice with a team that was a wild card team. So wild card teams do have the potential to have those Cinderella stories.
Right.
It would start the Cinderella story for them. Also, massive win for Pete Carroll's legacy. Pete Carroll at one point was going to be fired by the Seahawks because of all the seasons where, they made the playoffs, they were first round exits. This would cement him as, this would be one of those wins where it's like, all right, Hall of Fame coach. Fantastic. 49ers, same idea. It's like you traded all this capital to get Christian McCaffrey and, you signed Deebo Samuel. You got George Kittle locked up, made a bunch of moves on defense, just for you to lose in the first round to Geno Smith, who many deemed to be a draft bust.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, up until this point, he was. And then the Seahawks were having him as a backup. That would be an absolutely colossal failure, which I don't think I can think of a comparison that's as bad as that. Granted, Brock Purdy, 7th round pick, Mr. Irrelevant, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
My only real concern with the 49ers in this game, the game comes down to Brock Purdy because we already mentioned the Mr. Irrelevant thing. We've mentioned how well he's played. And I'm not necessarily saying this is what's going to happen, but first playoff game, playoffs add some intensity to it, add some pressure. He's played well under pressure so far in the regular season, but how does he play when the defenses really take it up a notch? People are playing for their legacies. They're playing for the Super Bowl. This is something that, should definitely be monitored.
Yeah, I just have a hard time with it because Seattle's weakness on defense has been the run game, and I've seen Jimmy Garoppolo throw the ball 10 times and then win a playoff game versus Green Bay in the conference championship at home in San Francisco. So it's like when the onslaught of Kyle Shanahan starts, it's not going to stop. And I feel like just with the run defense, if Seattle can stop the run and make that hard for them, sure, that gives them a great chance in this game if you can force Brock Purdy to throw. But I just don't see a scenario where the game is going to fall on Brock Purdy, which is why I'm comfortable picking the Niners.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with picking the Niners too. I do have the Seahawks covering. Now, quickly, if the 49ers win, which we think we will, one of the best coaching seasons of Pete Carroll's career already. No matter what, you made it to the playoffs with Geno Smith, who, second round pick in 2014, massive bust, turns his career around with Seattle. Massive accomplishment, best draft in 10 years, like we mentioned. Seahawks, no matter what happens this game, massive success. And then 49ers, it's step one to a 4-point step in getting to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, for sure. And then it's Super Bowl or bust for the 49ers. And Brock Purdy's been the best quarterback since he started playing, at least statistically, and at least how Pro Football Focus sees it, and QBR-wise. So it's like He's proven he can play. He's proven he can come up in the clutch versus the Oakland Raiders, even though they don't have the greatest defense in the world. He's making some off balance throws. He can move in the pocket, and then his turnover ratio is great, one of the best in the NFL. Actually seems like he knows what he's doing, unlike Trey Lance did, and then seems like he has more intensity and more to prove than Jimmy Garoppolo. He's not off the field. He's not injured as much as Jimmy G was early in his career. So I feel like for them, hey, we're moving on, and then we have to play, be it the Vikings in the second round, the Buccaneers, or the Cowboys, but bring them on. And then the Super Bowl, you can only hope that the Eagles get knocked off. But I feel like you have the best defense in the NFL and the best weapons on offense. It's really Super Bowl or bust for you this year. So it's like, I'd be very disappointed if I don't see the Niners at least in the conference championship.